This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're going to be typing Dolly Parton. Somebody recommended we look at her. We use Linda Barrens Interaction Styles and Temperament combined with cognitive functions. Let's go see what the monkeys over at Personality Database has her as. We do not think highly of them. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They have her as an isfj. Okay, so let's check the chart here. So ESFJs are informative. They're initiating, they're concrete, they're systematic, they're TIFE, and they're SINE, and they're affiliative. So if she meets those metrics, we'll call her a ESFJ. If she does not meet those metrics, we'll actually find out her actual personality type. And yeah, guys, we're still doing the free typing sessions by us. I think we're by far the best. You can waste your time trying to find your personality type for years. We do that absolutely free. All we do is recommend that you subscribe to the channel, join our Facebook group or Discord, and message our moderator Cody, and he will get back to you with an availability for you to be typed by us. People are charging hundreds, $200, $300, $500. We're doing this shit absolutely free. All we ask is you just, contribute to our community. We want to have the best MBTI community, point blank period, over here at Mongolian Mindset. So let's get into this. Okay, so comment below what you think her type is. We have our metrics here. I'll be dropping a link to where we did a thorough breakdown of each metric one by one, so you can figure out how to find anyone's personality type, even if you're blind, deaf, and dumb. This applies. Okay, and I'll also be linking the cognitive function breakdown in the comments below. All you have to do is click on those and be caught up. And yeah. So, yeah. And guys, we have the mega live tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. The heading for that will be talking about compatibility. We'll be talking about like people we've dated. You can share any information you dated and what type you think they were and why you think it didn't work and like what's your plan for the future. And at any time you can always ask me questions on there outside of whatever we're talking about. But that's just like a general thing to keep everybody on the same basis. Looking forward to seeing you guys. So let's get in Dolly.
Oh, wonderful to meet you.
Well, I feel like I know you, but thank you. Same to you.
Oh, thank you. So how did this project behind the scenes come to be?
Well, it's called Behind the Seams. It's all about my life in rhinestones and all about the clothes that I've worn over 6 decades. Going back from when my mom used to make clothes for me all the way up through to when neighbors used to make clothes and different people in Nashville all the way up through Hollywood and some of the finest designers and hairstyles as well. And so that was a clever little title that my niece Rebecca, who's the curator, has helped put it all together. She came up with that title, and I thought, that is so clever, Behind the Seams. So in my life in rhinestones, so we headed out and did it.
It's been pre-ordered by many people.
Yeah, well, it's a coffee table book, and it's really got laughable things in it. I look at them.
Okay, so she's giving a lot of extra information when she's talking here. I'm getting informative, but we will keep watching.
Wigs and some of the clothes I've worn, and I laugh out loud, and I tell the stories about where I was and what I was thinking at the time and when I wore it.
I know you say you don't care about fashion. How can that be?
Well, I don't care about following fashion. I've never been one to follow what other people.
Not one to follow. Okay, I can say that that's pragmatic there. Okay, and I think we're getting into
people are doing. I see what's going on, but I never could have afforded in those early days. But I just had my own personality. My
own personality. Some FI there. TEFI. We're gonna hit over FI there though.
My own thought of who I was and how I wanted to look.
How I wanted to look. SENI. Okay, that's some more FI there too.
Laugh out loud when people say I'm a fashion icon, because I never intended for that to happen. I just kind of dress the way I dress. And
so where did that sense of fashion come from?
I just wanted to be noticed. I tell this story.
I just wanted to be noticed, SENI.
And it's become like a joke, but it is the honest truth. I patterned my early look after the town tramp in our hometown.
Patterned her early look after the town tramp. I don't know if I feel the person's gonna be more on their look after a tramp, okay? That's more in the rebellious, contrarian type area.
Just wore her hair all peroxided and piled on top of her head.
Talking about what she did, SENI.
And she wore red lipstick, eyelashes, long red fingernails, high-heeled shoes, short skirts, and I thought she was the prettiest thing I'd ever seen. That would be so in a little country kid's eyes. So, and everybody would say, oh, she's just trash. And so I thought, well, that's what I'm going to be when I grow up, is trash.
That's what I want to be. I see what somebody else is doing, and I know I want to do. That's hardcore SENI there.
I thought that was just a term of how she looked, not what she was. And so I just loved that look of looking cheap and trashy, I guess. And that slogan where I say it costs a lot to look this cheap, there's a lot of truth in that too.
You exude confidence in everything that you do. Do you always feel that way?
Well, I'm confident in myself. I often say I'm comfortable in my own skin no matter how far I've stretched it.
Confident in my own skin. Sound like we're getting some FI parent here. Those are some of the most confident people on the planet. My cousin, who's an ESFP, I think by far is one of the most confident human beings I've ever met in my life. I told him before, if he was me, he would be unstoppable, okay? But just in general, because he does not rely on achievements or anything like that. It's just he just feels great about himself when he wakes up, regardless of whatever the fuck's going on.
As the years go by. But I think there's a lot to be said about being comfortable with who you are. Because I don't know how to be anybody else. I don't want to be anybody else.
I don't want to be anybody else. Pragmatic, TEFI, and SENI. Okay, she got her own identity here. She knows her own identity. She's not an FE user.
I'm not responsible for anybody else, but I'm responsible for me. But I think there's a lot to be said about self-confidence. I was confident in my talent, and I was confident in who I was as a person. So I've just held on to that.
Well, we got some more FI there.
But a lot of people struggle with that.
FI
and
parent.
I wonder if that's part of your great appeal to so many people.
Well, it might be, but I think a lot of my self-confidence too is that I'm grounded in the spirit as well. I grew up in the church, and my grandpa was a preacher. I also got a lot of confidence from that, believing that God loved me no matter what, and that we're supposed to, to love ourselves and love.
I think that's very important for an ESFP there, is to understand that, people love them, because I've met ESFP women that are just searching for somebody to actually love them for who they are and expressive and all that comes with them. It's very hard for them to find it, but what she says, she found it with God, so I'd highly recommend that for any ESFP woman.
One another.
When you started out, people told you to tone it down.
Well, a lot of people told me to turn it down and to tone it down for sure. But I just knew I felt better in bright colors and shiny clothes and the way that I dress, because I have a pretty outgoing personality.
Okay, SENI.
Even though I was more shy and bashful.
I'm gonna do what I want, pragmatic.
At coming out of the mountains, but still I had that fire inside me, that passion that wanted to just be out there and be part of it.
Maybe that's your next song, I Told You So.
That would be a good title, I Told You So.
On that note, one of your first songs, of course, was the hit song Dumb Blonde. And you've never shied away from that self-deprecating humor.
Well,
Just gonna knock some of these off here. We got enough for SENI and TIFE. And informative, so we got an SFP here. TFI. We got informative as well. And we have all these metrics broken down for everybody, so I'll leave a link to that in the comments. But she's beating around the bush. Extra information. not directing anything. It's not pushing down when she talks, really. It's not forceful, okay? It's not consistent, concise, to the point. And this is SENI, okay? She talks about what she wants, what she's seen the trash tramp in town, and then she knew what she wanted. And TEFI, she's all about her identity and remaining consistent with her identity, okay? So we have an SFP here. So we're going to be looking at progression versus outcome. So we'll be looking for that because I believe that's the best metric to look at. Progression versus outcome versus initiating versus responding. I kind of use that secondary to kind of confirm what I'm seeing a lot of times. Okay.
That was my first chart record, but I still, to this day, when I sing that song, I think about the fact that, just because I'm blonde, don't think I'm dumb, because this dumb blonde ain't nobody's fool. And so that was my first chart record, and I was so excited to have a record, and that really started my career. But still, I think about that title and what all that really has meant through the years of thinking you're dumb when you know better.
Because you're a brilliant businesswoman.
Well, I don't know how brilliant I am as a businesswoman. I think this is a good way to explain it, that I am a very professional Dolly Parton. I can't tell anybody else how to do it.
TE title, professional, Dolly Parton.
I just know what I have, and I feel I know what I can do with what I have. And I surround myself with smart people.
So that's a TE thing to do, okay? So TE users tend to surround themselves with smart people or talk about it because they like to be around smart people. So that's a TE thing. So we're going to hit over TEFI, but we already knocked off that metric.
Handle the stuff that I cannot handle and to do the things I'm not qualified to do. And I know what those things are.
Talk about qualifications here. It's TE again. TE users generally talk about qualifications, credentials, those type of things. So.
Behind the scenes is sort of like a walk down memory lane. Do you have a favorite costume? Do you have a favorite memory or a feeling from some of the clothes that you wore?
Yeah, I do. There's many, many of them. I have a feeling about all of them, but three of the things, I guess, that I feel strongest about was when I became a member of the Grand Ole Opry back in 1969. That little outfit meant a lot to me because that was a big occasion. If you can make it to the Grand Ole Opry, you've really made it. So that was my dream as a child, to be a member of the Grand Ole Opry. And then, of course, My Little Coat of Many Colors is a song that's just stood by me and just become so many things. It's created a life of many colors for me because that little song is so important. I did a song years ago on the CMA Awards. It was called He's Alive. It was a spiritual song with the choir and everything, and that dress had little built in like wings. When I raised my arms, it felt like wings, but I got so caught up in the spirit on that song. That's such an inspirational, powerful song that when I was singing it, I really just felt like the spirit just kind of fell on me, and it just meant so much. And when I raised my arms, I just felt like I was going to fly away.
How do you practice your spirituality today?
Oh, I live my spirituality, That's how you practice it mostly. You just live it and be it. A lot of people so overthink spirituality, and therefore they think it has to be some big ritual. But the kingdom of heaven...
Talking about what other people overthinking, things like that.
Heaven is inside. It's right inside of you, and you can draw from that wisdom, whether you call it God or higher wisdom or a higher knowing. There's something bigger than you. I just think you just need to claim it and live it. And you can apply that to whatever you do. I don't think you have to be a saint. I don't think you have to be so strict that you can't have fun. It's all about the intent of your heart.
Now, not just the dresses, but the shoes, the heels. Now, you say they're, comfortable. You've got the most beautiful shoes and probably more shoes than I've ever seen in my life, and they're all handmade, right?
They are, mostly. I have a few that I find, but who said that's comfortable? Did you just say that?
I think it says...
Okay, she always wears that, so she's all about the SE, okay? Comfort is more attached to SI. She's like, I'm wearing these heels, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna look good.
The book that you
They're good. I'm joking. But I mean, anybody that says, how do you walk in those shoes? I said, very carefully and very often. But I usually have my shoes made, and they do measure your foot, and they build the arch and stuff to where if you're going to be on your feet all the time like me, because I'm not going to be without my high heels. But
I'm not gonna be without my high heels.
Tons of shoes. I've loved shoes since I was little, before I even knew I was going to be short, and love high heels. And since I saw the
Love this, love that, FI.
tramp on the street.
And is it true, do you wear heels at home?
I do. They're not always this high, but I wear some sort of a little heel because I'm short. I can't even reach my cabinets without some sort of a little heel.
Talking about what works there, that's pragmatic. Pragmatic is a very high indication of doing what works, okay? The heels, home, all that. She didn't care about comfort, man. Philip is about doing what's right, okay? She's a free spirit.
Because
I do go barefoot. Of course, I do walk around some, but I like to kind of, even around the house, I kind of put my little hair up in a little scrunchie, put a little makeup on. I don't like to be tacky. I never know who's going to come to the door or need something.
So there's no Dolly Parton at home in yoga pants and tennis shoes?
Yeah, if I'm doing yoga, if I'm doing something like that, but not if I'm not.
We all thought that. We've got to imagine how is Dolly at home? She can't always look this great. You sleep in your makeup.
I sleep in my makeup, especially if I'm in LA because of the earthquakes, and I keep my clothes handy because you never know. Because if it comes an earthquake, you're going to head to the street, and of course the news is going to be out there, and I'm not going to be caught out there with that.
Well, that's making the rest of us feel pretty bad.
Well,
I wear as much makeup as you probably, during the day, and then it takes a couple washcloths to get it off at night,
Well, I do that in the morning when I feel better.
Yeah.
I just want to do what I do, and I just do myself the way I do myself. I don't follow
a pragmatic approach.
No rules with that either.
Don't follow no rules, pragmatic.
I feel like I know you so well, having followed you for so many years, but in preparation for this interview, of course, we tried to read everything we could, listen to everything we could. And I read this about you. Dolly Parton's popularity has endured in large part because she is an enigma in plain sight, one of the most scrutinized bodies in the history of modern celebrity, and yet no one can tell you what her forearms look like.
Well, that's not true. There's several pictures of me in that little book, Behind the Seams, where I have my little sleeveless clothes on. But I'm very fair, and I don't lay in the sun, and I just don't like my arms to show.
Can we just put the rumor to rest that your forearms are covered in tattoos?
Well, I have a few tattoos, but that's mostly to cover some scars and some things that I have, but not on my forearm, But if my tattoos are personal and for reasons, but I'm not a biker chick under there. But that's, but I don't like my arms to show.
So there's no tattoo sleeve under there?
Well, I have a few little things, but not like what you're saying. I have a few bows, a couple little bows right in here, and I got but that's not why I don't show my arms.
Do you consider yourself mysterious?
Well, people find me mysterious because I just tell everything I know. What's the mystery there?
That's what people love about ESFPs. They just, and that goes to a lot of their appeal. They just tell it how it is, man. They don't really care. They're not thinking about anything, and they're always a joy to be around. I love being around my ESFP cousin. Like that guy there. Like even if I don't even personally I don't like the spotlight that much, but he gonna make sure we're in the spotlight. He gonna make sure we in the spotlight. The stuff that he will do to make sure that we are always in the spotlight. Yeah, all I can do is give him his credit because I'm not one to do some of the stuff that he does. Like I tell you, he has a drop top Camaro SS, and he will literally drive around the club 2 or 3 times so everybody see us, and then park it right in the front of the club, so that everybody see. I would never do that personally myself, but my ESFP cousin, every time, man, absolutely love him. Sometimes we man, we make a joke that he'll crank his car up in the bathroom, so that everybody hear the noise behind his car. But hey,
Tell everything I feel that the people need to know, and I'm honest in what I say. I just don't always tell everything I know. If you didn't think to ask it, I ain't going to volunteer it. I have to save some for me.
Pragmatic.
It's just like when I pray about my money, I always ask God to give me enough to share and enough to spare, you know. And so that's the same thing with my personality. You know, God give me enough to share with everybody and give me enough to spare. Save some for me. You have to save something for yourself. And so therefore, by doing so, you create a mystery, I guess, because people are always saying that to me. But nobody knows everything about everybody, nor should they.
True. I love how, too, in the book, you spend a lot of time featuring all the people behind the looks, the designers, the hairstylists, the makeup artists, the tailors. Why was that so important?
Well, that was one of the main reasons that I was all up for doing this book, because it has given me a chance to really let the people that put all this together. It's one thing for me to get out there and sell it. I can take me with my personality and all that. But if you don't have the hair you need, if you don't have the clothes that you need, and people have no idea the hours, the endless hours that it takes to do one of these beaded dresses, for instance. And so I just wanted to give the hairstylists through the years that have worked on my hair, and the people that have worked on my clothes, the designers through the years, and talk about them, and at the same time talk about where I was at that particular time in my life.
We have much more with Dolly Parton. One of the most famous country music artists of all time, if not the most famous, and you have done pop, bluegrass, and now a rock album.
I'm a rock star. I laugh at
Now I'm a rock star, TFI.
out loud at that too, just like I do at the, being a fashion icon. I laugh at that because I have, like you say, I've spent my whole life in country music. My husband is a huge rock and roll fan, and we've been together 60 years in May, but my whole life with him, he's had that rock and roll just blaring as loud as he could get it in the den or in his truck or in the car or wherever. So I'd hear all these songs, and I used to think that I would do a rock album someday, and then the time went on, I started getting older, and I thought, that'd be a joke now, for me to try to be a rock star, at an older age. And then they up and put me in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I didn't feel like I belonged there because I didn't want to take
Didn't feel FI. And she's on a progression here.
anything away from the people that had spent their life in rock and roll. And I thought, well, I'm enough like my daddy, Lee Barton, to think if you're going to give me something, I'm going to earn it. And then I thought, well, timing's everything. So I decided I'm going to do that rock and roll album.
Timing's everything. Taking advantage of the moment. SE.
Let's talk about World on Fire. That's a political message that I don't always detect from you.
Well, actually, I didn't think of that as political as much as I was thinking of it as trying to save our asses.
Save
our butts.
She just cussed the asses. Pragmatic, okay. In interest, okay. I thought about saving our asses. Let's go back. That was there. The interview was shocked.
As much as I was thinking of it as trying to save our asses.
Interest.
Save
our butts. Anyway, that's one of the lines, and one of the things when I said, I talked about, it was more about just all the things that's going on in the whole wide world and what are we doing. But it was just about, what are we doing? What are we thinking? Are we just gonna my mouth?
What are we thinking, TE?
Mouth's bigger than your mouth? My people are bigger than your people. My daddy's bigger than your daddy. My bomb's bigger than your bomb until we just blow ourselves, plumb out off the face of the earth. So I just felt led to write something because that's how I do express myself.
I do express myself. FI, as Dario terms the word, FI is the quiet crusader. They're coming out, FI parent.
I'm not political, but I do write. But I do feel it, just like the first line of that says, I'm not one for speaking out much, but that don't mean I don't stay in touch. And so, to me, that's more spiritual than it is political. It's just a plea to say, hey, you know, we're just, you know, it's just us. Who are we going to be when we ain't here?
No, it's an incredible gift. I mean, you know, the difficulty of songwriting, and people sometimes take days, weeks, but mostly years, and it's truly, you're a genius.
Oh, I'm not a genius. That just runs in my blood. Just and I have the gift of rhyme. And so I always make a joke. I say, I've got at least 3,000 songs and 3 good ones. And that's pretty much
3,000 songs and 3 good ones. That's a progression mindset, okay?
That's pretty much true.
Do you think you'll ever stop writing songs or retire?
No. I couldn't stop writing songs if I wanted to. That just comes to me as natural as when I'm putting my makeup on. I won't even be thinking I need to. And I'll always keep a notepad or something handy. I'll come up with a title or a line and stuff. So that's natural for me.
Do you have a favorite song that you've written?
Well, I have several favorites. You know, I have some that I like to sing more. Like I Will Always Love You. Any singer likes to have a song that you can really belt it out on and do the low parts and the dynamics of it. But my favorite song, and I've said this from day one, I doubt that I'll ever write one that means more to me personally than The Little Coat of Many Colors. Because that's about family, it's about mama, it's about
I know my favorite.
bullying, it's about acceptance, and it's about, you know, diversity. It's about all the things that really matter, but I didn't know it at the time.
When we come back, we'll talk with Dolly Parton about
All right, guys, so we're done here. We got Dolly Parton. Let's go and start. Okay, so ESFP, let's go ahead. ESFPs are initiating. Okay, they'll change the subject in interviews and whatnot, and that's how you can really find that. They're concrete, so they're all about the what is. Dolly's they're all about the interest. They're all about interests of others, themselves, what they get out of a situation, what's the motive behind what people are doing. She's pragmatic. So she has more of a utilitarian mindset versus cooperation. She wants to do her own thing. She don't want you to impede on what she wants to do. She's informative, so she beats around the bush. She's passive, extra wordy. The words aren't really coming down. That's what I've noticed. It's not very forceful. So informative, progression. So she's all about the process, the milestones to get there, the process to things. She's not looking at an end product. She's just going through the motion. And SENI, we talked about that earlier, in TIFE. So we have Dolly Parton as a ESFP, okay? And for subset here, because that's Dario's, I'm going to give her creative, okay? And I'm going to give her Enneagram 7W8, okay? I'm going to go sexual with her. She seems to have rose-colored glasses on. Sexual/SO. Highly recommend you guys pick up Beatrice Chestnut's material on this, okay? So I'm going to go over sexual/SO. And I'm going to give her Prodigy level ESFP, man. Okay, Prodigy. I'm giving her Prodigy. Could go above average, but I'm gonna give her Prodigy. Fuck it. And comment below what you think and a celebrity you want typed. Guys, this has been fun. This is Mongolian Mindset, and we're out. We'll catch you at the Mega Live tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern.